Hi guys, welcome to the Business Life Podcast. Hope you're well. Welcome to episode 10. I'm Mark Ford. I'm the presenter of this podcast and video cast. And my aim is to help you find your ideal customers and your ideal clients without the fluff, the flannel, and spending a shed load of money. So today's video podcast is actually really quite interesting. It's something that's becoming quite close to my heart. I'm very, very aware as a coach that many businesses end up trying to pursue silver bullets. They are taken in by many, many gurus. Look, you could probably even say me because you're either listening to me or watching me and you could think that I'm a guru and that type of thing, but I'm not, I'm a coach. But there are many people on various platforms that will say, if you follow this 282-step plan, these are where your customers are. This is going to make you a millionaire overnight. You see, now the problem with silver bullets is that silver bullets are great, but they don't exist. And even if they did exist, if your business was a great big cannon, what's the point of giving it a bullet? It's going to miss every single time. And what really upsets me is that a lot of small businesses don't recognise that they really need to keep a tight rein on their marketing budget. And they also, in an odd way, don't understand that they're not a big household name. So you have to go through this process. And it's a process called know, like, and trust. And I could put in brackets at the very end, and eventually buy your stuff. So the main thing about when you're going out and you're marketing, you're trying to find your ideal clients and your ideal customers, is that everybody seems to think they have to be on social media. Everybody seems to think that they have to be on Instagram. And for some of the bigger names and for some of the guys that have gone out there and perhaps got there first, great stuff. Now, I'm not saying don't do it, but what I am saying is that you need to build a relationship, because otherwise, if you're just on social media and you're trying to flog your stuff and trying to get people to like you, know you, and trust you, actually, you may as well have just put an advert in the yellow pages, and they're closing. There's a reason they're closing. It's because actually, you might as well just wet your finger and go, yeah, I'm going to pick that one, because really, nobody knows you, likes you, or trusts you. So, this is what I want to talk to you about today, is what should businesses do if they want to attract the right clients and the right customers? And I'm going to talk about a very old-fashioned way of attracting those customers and clients, and that is through, ladies and gentlemen, networking. Networking at a very local level is one of the most effective ways of getting your ideal customer and your ideal client into your business. They get to know you, they get to like you, they get to trust you, and eventually they will buy your stuff. So you could just visit any sort of networking event and you're going to find lots of people there that may benefit from your business. It doesn't matter whether you're a service, doesn't matter whether you're a retail shop, doesn't matter whether you're a restaurant or anything like that. I am just utterly amazed by how many people don't go networking. They see it as a ball ache. They see it as time taken out of their diary, out of their day, and they really don't get the gist that actually by showing up, you will become memorable. By showing up, people will get to know you. By talking to people, you never know. I remember a great story that one of my clients told me. And before I really get into the hints and tips of networking, this is a really big don't do it. Networking is about building a network, building a support, building almost like an army of people that will go out and market on your behalf. This client is an acupuncturist, and she was at a networking event, and a business coach, who shall remain nameless, marched up to her, handed over his business card and said, "Hi, I'm so-and-so." Let's just leave it there, shall we? "I'm so-and-so, I'm a business coach. What do you do?" And she went to tell him. She'd barely got 10 seconds into telling him that she was an acupuncturist, and actually her niche was pretty special. But he turned on his heels and walked away. One of the biggest lessons from that was that when we were talking about this over a Skype call some weeks later, she said, "What a ridiculous thing to do." Now, admittedly, I might not be ideal for him. He might not be ideal for me. But how did he know that my husband wasn't a millionaire? How did he know that my partner didn't own a great big international firm and they were looking for a business coach to take them on to the next level? How did he know? Quite simply, he didn't. So he made one of the biggest cardinal mistakes. And this is the thing about networking, is that if you go out there, people will remember you for the good stuff and the bad stuff. So let's quickly look at what local good business networking events should look like. So look, I want to sort of demonstrate to you what really good business networking groups are like, because hey, time is money, and if you're going to a really rubbish one, you're wasting your money. The same 3 or 4 people sort of like keep turning up, that's not cool. And actually, guys, if you run a really good business networking event and you want an extra tip, stay to the end of this podcast, because I'm going to give you a little secret that not many people are getting hold of, so that they can make your really good business networking group even better and perhaps awesome, which would be superb for everybody involved. Now, I'm not talking about these good business networking groups being like the Chamber of Commerce or the Rotary Club or the Lions Club or anything like that. I mean, those are very, very fine organisations, but they're not quite what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is like a local business networking group. So I want to refer to them in these kind of criteria. So they're groups that can be relaxed as well as business focused. There are groups that perhaps only allow one representative from each profession to join them. I, however, think that's a barrier, but some people prefer that. Groups that allow you to network with other like-minded individuals across the country. Look, if your business takes you to perhaps Doncaster on a Monday, and perhaps that you then are in, I'm going to say Birmingham on a Wednesday, perhaps looking for a national group where you could go networking during those days, and perhaps getting up an hour or so earlier to go and attend one of these events would be absolutely ideal for you. Remember, the primary purpose of the group is to facilitate the exchange of business referrals between members. It's not all a dodgy handshake, closey cub, sort of like meet up, have a couple of drinks. And I've seen people get drunk at these things as well, which is never cool either. But this is the whole point, is that you're there to do business. You're there to get a return on your investment. The secondary purpose, I guess, is also to make new friends and new acquaintances, because hey, being a small business or being a business owner is quite a lonely place. So it's amazing how much knowledge is in that room, and if you tap into it, people have probably made the mistakes that you're about to make, and will probably save you a small fortune in money so that you don't end up making them, which is quite cool. The group meets on a regular basis, either a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis, which is great. Meetings kind of have a bit of a structured format, and it's really quite important that that happens so that everybody gets their say, including the really nervous ones amongst us. You know, when you go to other networking events and people are there and they're mingling, you can tell the ones that are quite nervous, they tend to sit in the background, they tend to sit in the corner. And that's just part of human nature. We all do it, depending on what sort of environment we're in. So having that kind of structure where people are allowed to stand up, tell people about their business, tell people who they want and what sort of business they want is absolutely top draw. Really needs to be one of your priorities here. And members are kind of expected to adhere to a bit of a code of conduct and some ethics, and I think that's really, really important. But I mean, there are many groups out there. One of my favourites is the 4N group. I'm not an intensely serious kind of guy. Hopefully you've kind of recognised that by now. but I do love a slightly more relaxed atmosphere, a slightly more social aspect to it, so that perhaps I am, I don't feel that I'm at school. There are groups, perhaps like BNI, which is very, very structured, have a traffic light system. Don't understand that because nobody likes traffic lights, so I don't know why they use that. But it works for some people. It really, genuinely does work for some people. And if you go to a really well-run local networking group, take yourself out of your comfort zone, take yourself to having a couple of hours out of your diary every week, every 2 weeks, potentially, and I mean potentially, you could add thousands, and I mean thousands of pounds onto your business because you are attracting the right customers and the right clients. So I'm going to give you 5 tips, and the owners of business networking groups, hang around till the end. I'm going to give you a special tip, and I'm going to tell you what some really good business networking events are starting to do and really starting to get themselves switched on and motivated. Tip 1 is be specific when you're asking for referrals. One common characteristic of a type of networking group is that people have the opportunity to ask for referrals, either in 60 seconds or 40 seconds. In fact, it's kind of like an expected thing for you to do, really. So please don't be shy about asking for referrals, asking for business. One of the worst things that you can do is be vague. So I'm going to give you a really good example, and this is sort of, I've just got this written down here. Is that an estate agent in a local networking group, as an example, might sort of stand up and go, I'm going to put a voice on here because otherwise you just think it's me. I'm looking for an introduction to Mr. John Smith from John Smith's Property Management. I know that Mr. Smith has his property rentals currently organised with another agent who, unfortunately, has recently been in the news after they went into liquidation. If somebody could introduce me to Mr. Smith so that I could educate him about the benefits of organising his referrals, his rentals with our company, I would greatly appreciate that. Now, probably you're not likely to give him the referral because he sounds really dull. I just did the voice just, so that it didn't sound like me. But he was incredibly specific. It's almost, if I give you an idea of a vague one, I've seen accountants stand up and say, hi, I am so-and-so, I'm an accountant, and I'm interested in anybody who wants to save money through their tax. That's pretty much about 20 odd million people then, I would have thought. So that's incredibly vague, not very specific, and it's not particularly memorable. So, tip, be specific about the referrals that you want for your business. Tip 2, don't forget about strategic partners. The only thing better than getting an instant referral is getting a personal introduction to another business or another individual that could help you grow your business and get you in touch with your ideal customers and your ideal clients. It will take a little bit more time to perhaps get the money in. I do appreciate that. However, what you should be thinking about is getting that partnership up and going where it's mutually beneficial. So in your particular industry, you may be able to offer another business some great referrals through your network. That particular business may be absolutely suitably placed to give you some great introductions to people in their network. So don't forget about working on your strategic partnership and how that can mutually benefit both your businesses. Tip 3, use the group to help perhaps share some of your content. Now look, don't do this instantly. If you've just joined, don't just stand up going, I've written this, I've written that, I've videoed this, and I've recorded this, and I'd like you to share it amongst all your people, because it's just going to end up annoying the hell out of them and they're not going to do it for you. What I'd suggest you do is obviously get your feet under the table, get there for a while. But hey, if you've just written a brand new ebook on getting ideal customers and getting ideal clients, if you've written a great blog piece about networking and what it's done for your business, if you've written and recorded a podcast or done a video, don't be afraid to say, look guys, on my page is this fantastic video. I think it will help all your businesses. Go and have a look at it. And if you like it, please feel free to share it. Here's the thing. They've all got Facebook friends. They've all got LinkedIn connections. Yeah, they're on social media. All they do is share it. Suddenly, your reach is not 200 people. It could be 400, 600, 800, 1,000 people. Just by 2 or 3 people within your 20 to 30 people group sharing your content. Tip 4. One of the things about going networking is know, like, and trust. So obviously, people have possibly bought from you, they've really enjoyed your product or services. Ask people for a review and don't forget to review back. There are people that like to sit in the background, perhaps are not as loud as perhaps you are or I am, and want to actually do some due diligence and want to go and have a look at your website, or want to go and have a look at any reviews that you may have about your products or services. So once you've got that connection in the group, once you've got people knowing you, liking you, and trusting you, ask for a review, write one for them back as well. It will help you attract your ideal customers and your ideal clients. Tip number 5, use your networking to help your customers. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's a product or a service, but how many people do you talk to that you service every single day of the week, every month of the year, year in, year out? How many people could benefit from your networking group? And this will lead on to my special tip for you network group leaders at the very, very end. Imagine just inviting them along, them benefiting from that networking group, getting connections out of it. Don't be scared of competition, by the way. Competition is good. That's why I don't particularly like the sort of like the one individual, the one business per group type of groups, because actually people buy from people. So therefore, people should always have a choice of who to buy for. But that's my own personal opinion. So get your customers, your clients, to come along to a networking group. They may never have done it before, and therefore they may benefit from some of the connections that they may make within that group, and you are going to be flavor of the month just because you've done that. And tip 6, this guys is the special tip, okay? If you run a networking group, one of the biggest things that I'm starting to see is that people like to play the numbers game. Stop playing the numbers game now. If you run a group, it is your duty to make sure that the people that come to your group get the best value for the money that they're paying. Some of these guys pay hundreds of pounds in membership fees. Some guys just pay 10, 15 quid for a breakfast or a lunch, which is fine. But for 10 or 15 pound and 2, 3, maybe 3 hours out of my diary every week or every couple of weeks, I need to do business. I need to see a return on investment for my time. Here's the thing, is there are lots of groups that are internally recruiting from other networking groups. And what you're ending up doing is you're seeing the same faces time and time again. There are cities that I've gone to where I could go to 5 different networking groups and I see 5 sets of people. They're the same people. They don't change. They are the core group, and there's only a few more around it. Your biggest growth area is to make your networking group so attractive, so valuable to your existing networkers that new networkers will want to come and be a part of it. Especially the guys that haven't been networking before. That is your biggest growth area. So guys, if you run a business networking group, get out there, get yourself out there, find newbies. I hate calling them newbies, but go and find newbies. So the guys that are already in your existing in your networking group will want to come back more and more and more. And also it shows that you're leading from the front. You're leading from the front, which means that you can attract new networkers to it, and perhaps the people within the group will then start inviting more visitors and more guests because the whole event is becoming more and more valuable just for them. So guys, that's it. That is the podcast. It's a very short one. Hopefully it's going to give you some ideas. If you're not using any of these ideas for networking, by the way, Start using them now. What is up with you? Why aren't you doing it? Networking is cheap. I was going to say cheap and cheerful. It depends what group you go to. But it's cheap. It is a great return on investment. If you spend across the year £1,000 networking, but you get that one client, that one customer that spends £1,000, £1,500, £2,000 with you, you haven't gone and spent it willy-nilly. You've got a return on your investment. You're probably also very likely to make some brilliant new business friends, and you're going to learn a lot just by watching people, listening to people, having one-to-ones, conversations, coffees. Go do it. If you're not doing it already, get off your backside, go out there, find a good business networking event. I guess it's a bit like kissing a frog. Eventually you're going to kiss a frog and it's going to turn you into a prince or a princess. But get off your backside. It's about taking action. It's about getting out there and going to do it. And if you want some more hints and tips, go to my website, www.markford.uk. Go to ebooks. And there is an ebook there on some of the best networking tips that you can have, and also the things not to do at networking events. And trust me, I have seen a lot of bad networkers out there. And if you fall into one of those categories, you need to stop that right now as well. So go to the website, go and have a look at the free ebook. It's free to download. Please go and do it. It's about 20 odd pages long, so it's only going to take you about 10-15 minutes of your day just to have a quick read of that, a brush up on your skills. Go out there. Be brilliant. Guys, until next time, I hope you go out there marketing. I hope you're going out there networking, and I hope that you are getting some of your ideal customers and your ideal clients into your business right now. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.